Welcome to a special NBA edition of Your Best Bets. Been talking about doing this one for a while with these two guys, and really it's ramped up the last couple of weeks with a good text message thread that has really provided the forum for a lot of hot takes, a lot of back and forth and disagreements on some players. And as we get closer to the All-Star weekend, actually this weekend, it seemed like a really good time to put this one out and talk about who are the 10 best players in the NBA right now. And you can go a lot of different ways with this list, but I'm interested to see who the two gentlemen have on their list. First, Colin Quinlan is back. What's going on, Colin? How are you?
Oh, nothing much, just living life. I'm excited for this podcast. I know we've been kind of talking about it for a little bit now. I'm really excited to see what Cullen's got stirring for us.
Yeah,
I think me and you are going to have a fairly similar list, but I'm not sure what he's going to pull out. So, kind of excited to see that.
Yes, the third member of the podcast, Colin Quinlan, is here. Colin, I think the last time you were on, we were talking about, was it college basketball?
I believe it was IU. I believe. Yeah, that's a whole other topic right there. Yeah.
Yikes! Gosh,
A little depressed right now about that, but we'll see if they can bounce back. Yeah.
let's see.
Let's
Yeah, so as Colin mentioned, this is one, actually the first time the three of us have been on a pod together. So I'm glad both of you could join. When I think about talking about the NBA, I think about the two of you guys. We've discussed it a lot in the past. Usually just hanging out, so it'll be nice to talk about it in this forum. I know we're all big fans of the league. I think sometimes we see eye to eye. I think sometimes we see completely different. I think I am aligned more closely to Colin on his thoughts on basketball than Cullen, but that's why this is going to be good, I think. And so we started talking a couple weeks ago about who really are the 10 best players in the league, and I don't want to give it away, but there was one player in particular that I think really was the main cause of this topic and this discussion, and we'll certainly get to him at some point. I'm sure, probably sooner than later on Cullen's list than Colin and my list. But how did you guys? So the criteria is the 10 best players right at this moment. You can't necessarily look at history. I guess you can weigh it a little bit, but really it's if I was on a playground right now and I had to pick the 10 best guys, who would I take? I mean, is that how you guys kind of looked at it too?
Yeah, I was mostly looking at how they're playing at the current moment. I wasn't really looking at history all that much. I think I took a little bit into consideration, not really all that much. I looked maybe at the past few seasons, so how they performed, but other than that, I've been doing current moment, who would I want right now.
Colin, the same on that?
It's really well said by Colin, but I can't take my subjectivity out of my equation here. So I just go by who I think is great, but also who I like and kind of their face. Going back to your ranking of favorite and hateable players, like their face, I take that into accountability on my list. I'm not going to lie to you guys.
I think that's the only other podcast where there was a ranking system, and
I loved it.
Right.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
I appreciate a hateable face, as you discussed. I tried to take out the face and just who I appreciate as a basketball player. I know you don't necessarily see it that way, and that's okay. So I think without further ado, let's get to the list. I think we should go youngest to oldest. So Colin, I guess start us out with either your 10th player or maybe a couple of honorable mention players that didn't quite make the top 10.
Okay. I guess one that I would like to talk about that's playing really well right now that I left off the list is Trae Young. So I think he's performing very well right now. He's obviously one of the up and coming stars in the league. I left him off this league just because I think left him off this list because the 10 guys I have on the list I would prefer to have over him just a little bit right now, but I can't say that he wouldn't be on this list maybe in the next month. Like next month, I think he could fall in that 8 to 10 range. So he's a guy I could consider putting on this list sometime in the future.
Cullen, is there a guy that didn't make your top 10 that is on the precipice or just missed the cut?
Yeah, one of your favorite players, Phil, Jason Tatum. He just missed my top 10. So I mean, that guy,
Tatum.
what is he, 22 years old still or something like that? I mean, he's huge. He's not quite there yet, but you mark my words, a couple years he'll be easy top 10 player, if not top 5 in the league.
I think it was with
I don't think I'd go that far yet.
Yeah, not yet. A couple years. Give me 3 to 4 years.
I did have him on my list too. I'm around that 12 range. He's playing really well right now too. But I don't know if I'd go top 5 yet.
Yeah,
He's got to show me a little bit.
Celtics are hot. That's all I'm saying.
They are playing well finally. I had both of those guys on my honorable mention list. I did pick Tatum, I think, in the preseason pod with Colin as a guy that, or no, I think it was our 10 best players under 25 last year. I said he could lead the league in scoring at some point. I still believe that. So I have those two guys. I have James Harden as not making the cut. I don't know if that's controversial or not, but I don't see him as a top 10 player. His athleticism has decreased, doesn't get to the free throw line, and doesn't play a lick of defense as well, at least currently. See if that changes once he's with the Sixers. Also, that did not make the cut on my list, Anthony Davis, which is kind of bums me out a little bit because 2 years ago in the bubble, he was really dominant. I think he showed what he can do on the court on both ends. And I mean, he obviously paired with LeBron in the bubble. They were a dominant duo. And I think I mentioned it with Colin. He gained weight, got kind of bigger and muscly, and man, what a terrible thing to be, right? But I really think it's hurt him as far as his quickness, and he just doesn't play in the same way. Takes too many jumpers. I just don't like watching him play basketball right now. I expect at some point he'll get back in the top 10, but currently I do not have him in my top 10 players, and that kind of bums me out, and bums me out for the Lakers' chances this season for sure. Colin, all right, who is your number 10?
So it's a guy you just listed. I got James Harden at 10. So even though you mentioned those things, he's not as athletic as he used to be. He doesn't really play defense, but I think this guy can go out and score 40 if he wanted to. I don't think he's going to be doing that on the Sixers team, but I do think he's going to be a wonderful pairing with Embiid. He's a guy that's second in the league in assists right now. I think he's averaging 20 something a game. So I think that's doing a little too much to leave him off this list, even if I got to put him at 10. So he's who I have at 10. I think he's just too good of a player to not put on this list.
Okay. I am interested to see the pairing with Embiid. The pick and roll could be devastating. Harden's he's such an enigma. I feel like when he wants to play, he can be a dominant figure, but I don't like those loosey-goosey types that are just, they show up on one end of the floor, or they just game to game, you don't know what to expect. And I don't know. I have to see more with the Philly situation. Cullen, did you have Harden on your list?
I didn't even have Harden on my, I think I had him at 16.
Give me a break.
Yeah. So, look, he always looks chubby. I don't understand. Like
for sure.
And he doesn't
to
play
be
defense.
Fair, I don't think he wanted to be in Brooklyn. I feel like that whole situation was a mess. Kyrie not playing, KD being hurt. I don't know. I think you'll see a better version of James Harden in Philly. That's just me, though. That's just me.
Until he gets bored with that situation, like he did Houston and Brooklyn. I mean, this guy's what's happening back there?
I'm sorry. Hold on a second. I'm gonna try to throw one of my dogs out real quick. You guys.
Can you blame him for not wanting to be in Brooklyn, though? I mean, it's a mess.
Well, why? Because Durant is hurt and he's on the mend, and Kyrie is that whole situation is unfortunate.
It's just a bad situation. I wouldn't want to be there personally, but I don't know.
We could talk about that trade later, obviously. All right, Cullen. So you didn't have Harden in your top 10. Who is your number 10?
Let's just get started, guys. Just to get right to it, Jokic is number 10 on my list. So I mean, I think that's maybe too high if I'm being completely honest, guys. But I honestly looked at it, and he's number 10 right here. You can see it. Boom.
So this is really the impetus to the podcast, really the last
Yeah.
couple of weeks. I don't know how it came up. Colin and I, I think Colin and I, we talked about in a football podcast, we were talking about Zion and Ja, and then Jokic came up at the end and we said how much we love him and how he's great. And then the next day you responded that you have utter hate for him. And
Trash.
I don't really understand it because I know you well enough to know you appreciate good basketball and how good basketball is played. And he is the epitome of a smart, skillful, intelligent basketball player that doesn't have all the athletic ability, but he uses all of this ability to just make plays, score. His defense is improved. I don't get it.
Yeah, I can see your point. You make valid statements there. I see what you're saying. I just don't like his face. I don't like his game. I don't really like big men in general. So let's preface it with that. I love
He
basketball.
doesn't play like a big man.
Yeah, I know. That's true.
You make good points. He looks slow.
Would you consider Kevin Durant a big man?
That's a tough question. No, even though he is a big man.
Weird.
I know. But Durant is so pretty to watch. I like people that make it look good. Jokic looks like a plumber that
his passes are insane. His passes don't look good, like those flashy, just random passes you don't see coming from a dude that looks like that.
They look like a guy that's at the downtown Y who thinks he's good, but he's garbage and wearing knee pads and bleeding.
That is the best part.
Bleeding. Yeah. Anyway.
That's the best part is that he does look like a guy you'd play with at the Y, and you'd be like, "How is this guy so damn good?" And then, but he is one of. I will tell you right now, I have him at number 5. Colin,
Oh God.
I have him at 4.
Okay.
Oh jeez.
Okay.
Are you guys? Whatever.
He's the reigning MVP from last year, and he's been better this year. I don't think he'll win the MVP. He's going to come close. Right now, it looks like it's Embiid's to lose, but I don't get the whole I don't like big men thing. I don't know what that means. I'm like, that's such a key component of basketball. Like, you don't appreciate big men. You don't like watching them. Does this go back to Kobe? I don't know.
It kind of does. Yeah. I grew up, obviously. I mean, who didn't love Jordan, the greatest to ever live? And don't even get me started on LeBron versus Jordan, who's better. It's not close. Second or third best ever is not bad. That's LeBron's story there. But anyway, I love Kobe, love Jordan, love Vince Carter, love Luka, Curry. I like little guys that make it look good. All right. I don't like this big 7 foot. Like, if I was 7 feet tall, you guys could do the same thing he's doing.
Isn't Luka 6'9"?
Yeah, something like that. But he makes it look better. He makes it look better.
Okay, so we will never see eye to eye on Jokic, and I guess that's just the way it'll be.
Yeah.
And I've mentioned this several times. His roster is awful. It is not good. Jamal Murray has been out for quite a while with ACL, and Porter Jr. is always hurt. I don't even know who I would say their second best player is. Is it Aaron Gordon? I don't know. So I just think what he's done with that team, and I mean his numbers, and don't get me, you're all about stats. It's not true, but his numbers are eye popping. I mean, it just.
I was going to say that.
And I'm not all about numbers. I'm all eye tests, but the numbers also bear out as well. So we'll just have to agree to disagree. Number 10 for me, guys, is Devin Booker. And I struggled a little bit.
Wow.
And I actually struggled with Booker versus Chris Paul. And I'm shocked I even considered it, but Chris Paul he's just playing really, really well. And their team is, if it's not the best in the NBA, it's very close to it. These guys are like a 1A, 1B on that team. I took Booker because I like his scoring upside a little bit more. We saw him in the finals last year. I think he averaged 28, showed that he could play on a big stage, and he's continued to do it this year. So Booker is a guy that's at 10. I don't know if he gets much higher on this list as he gets older, frankly. But right now, I think he's the 10th best player in the league. Do you guys have him on in your top 10 or no? No.
I'm around 14 or so. I
14.
thought about him though. I think my issue with him is the same issue I have that you have with him. I don't know how much better he's going to get. I feel like we're seeing peak Devin Booker right now, and I don't know that that's better than the guys I have on this list.
All right, that's fair. All right, Colin, who you got 9?
At 9, I got my man Ja. So he's playing unbelievable right now. He's leading a very good Grizzlies team, a very young Grizzlies team, to one of the best teams in the league. So I really like what I'm seeing from him. I think he can get even better. I think his 3 points been kind of not doing as well as it had to begin the season, but he's still averaging what 20 something a game, 6 and 6 around there. So he's going to be, I think he has potential to be top 5 in the next few years. So I think he deserves a spot at least at 9.
Colin, did Ja make your top 10?
He did. I'm a big Ja fan. I think he's a number 8 for me. But I think he's like peak Westbrook, but better, which is funny because just a sidebar, speaking of Westbrook, you know, he averaged a triple-double for that season. I think he's garbage. I think he's trash too. Like he's a compiler like Jokic. That's why like he's on the trash team.
Oh my God.
And then he gets triple doubles all the time. Oh, triple double.
Oh
I mean,
my
come on. So
Oh.
that's just my 2 cents right there. But
Oh
how bad
gosh.
is Westbrook this year, by the way?
Westbrook is really bad. I was so shocked. I watched them last weekend against the Warriors.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple days ago.
Or no, it was 2 weeks ago against the Knicks. It was 2 weeks ago against the Knicks on Saturday night, and I couldn't believe how bad Westbrook was. And they just, I mean, he's lost all his athleticism. He has no good shot selection. He doesn't do anything really that well anymore. It's the Lakers ruined. I mean, they ruined their team by trading good players like Kuzma and KCP to the Wizards for this garbage heap known as Russell Westbrook. So I don't disagree on Westbrook. I have Ja at number 7. I'm surprised I have him the highest actually.
Wow.
I think he's playing close to an MVP level. His ceiling, I think he's a better version of Derrick Rose. I'm a little concerned about his recklessness at times, going to the basket. But he's so much better than I thought he'd be coming to the league. And Memphis has built around him really nicely. And I'm excited to see where they go because they're super young and super fun. But yeah, I have Ja at number 7. Colin, who do you have at 9?
I have, you're gonna not like this, CP3 at number 9. This guy, I mean, point God, guys, point God. He's just tearing it up. Is that what the kids say? Colin, is that what they call him? I don't know.
Point God, I've heard it.
Okay, cool. Trying to stay hip here. Thank you. I mean, he just controls that team. I mean, I know he's got some good players around him, but I think, not to jump ahead a little bit, but I think they're one of the favorites to make the finals again here, and he's just doing it at I can't remember how old he is, 37. I don't
Somewhere
know.
around there, yeah.
Yeah. So he's still just, and he's only 6 foot. You know, he says 6'1", but he looks tiny out there, and he's got control of the ball on the court. I love him. Love CP3.
I don't hate that pick. I compared to the Jokic pick, I don't. I can
Yeah.
see that.
You can't disagree.
Yeah, fair enough.
At 9, I had DeMar DeRozan, and I can't believe we're here because he's 32, I believe. But this season, I mean, who knows? Next season might be different, and he might not be in the top 20. But right now, he's a top 10 league. He's incredible. His scoring output has been really, really insane as of late. We know what he did earlier in the season when he made back-to-back buzzer beaters on back-to-back days. I didn't think it was going to work with him and Levine and Vucevic, but it really has. I don't know if the Bulls are going to win the East or really a viable threat to win the East, but DeRozan's been awesome, and I think currently right now, I think it's just showing him respect, being a top 10 player. You guys didn't have him in your top 10?
I had him at 8.
Okay.
I have him at
So-
7.
Okay. Okay.
See, we agree more than we think. Sometimes.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Colin, 8.
DeRozan was my 8.
Okay. And then Colin, you had who at 8?
I had Ja at 8.
I'm starting to
Yep.
get mixed up. Okay. My number 8 was Luca. Now,
I almost
Cully had him at 1.
Yeah,
right
he's like beyond 1.
now, this is a guy that clearly rise. He has a ceiling of top 2 or 3. But to me, there's a clear 6, and he's just a level below that. Him and Ja are below that. So I had Ja just above him because I think Ja is just playing better this year. And Ja's team is much better. And that's not necessarily Luka's fault, but Luka to me settles for the outside shot a little bit too much. Now there's a couple nights ago where I think he had 7 in the first half, so I get it, but settles for a jumper a little bit too much, and he's not the best shooter in the world. I'd rather see him get into the lane, and that's where he can do a lot of damage. Colin, number 7.
Luka was my 7.
Okay.
And I agree with there's a kind of a clear-cut 6 that I have.
Colin, what you got? 7.
I had Embiid at 7.
Okay.
I didn't like Embiid earlier. I love his. I just like his personality. I mean, yeah, I don't know. He's way better than Jokic, if you ask me. MVP favorite. I think they're in 2 different categories.
How do you have him at 7 if you agree he should be the MVP favorite?
Well, that's where MVP is not always the best player. Don't tell me that Steve Nash should have won.
Who's better than Embiid right now? I mean, if you want to say,
I got 6 people better than Embiid. But I think Embiid's going to win MVP. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? That makes sense.
I don't know.
Not really.
I don't know if it does. Okay, so I had, as I said before, I had Ja at 7. So Colin, number 6.
I had Steph at 6. So
I had
obviously-
Steph at 6 as well.
So he's obviously having a down year, but that down year for Steph is still 38% from 3, and he's averaging still 20-something a game. I think he's definitely better than 7 through 10 right now, and I would still rather have him. This is where I took a little bit of past history just because I know it's Steph. He's going to be clutch. He's going to keep shooting no matter what, and yeah, I think he's just definitely better than 7 through 10 right now.
Yeah, I had him at 6. I had him in the same spot. Colin, where'd you have Steph?
I have at 5. So not too far ahead, but
Okay.
love Curry. Change the game for the better. Love Curry. Love him.
Absolutely. However, this is a down year. This is a down year.
He's had a slump. It happens.
I mean, less than 40% from 3 for him is that's definitely a down year. Sorry, I got music playing in the background. Yeah, I just it seems like every time I watch him or I see the box score, I see a lot of 3 for 9s, 3 for 11, that kind of thing. More than you normally would. I don't know if that's age. It could just be a little bit of a slump, as we mentioned. But I might have had him higher earlier in the season. It just seems like the last 2, 3, 4 weeks he's been struggling with the shot. Cullen, number 6. Did we already go over it?
That's what I think I kind of lost track of my top 10. Not gonna lie to you.
Me too.
I have them right here, so I don't want to go. I had 10 to 6. Jokic, CP3, Ja, DeRozan, Embiid, Curry.
Okay.
That's the
So
5.
that's right. You had Embiid 6, Curry 5.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it. All right. And my number 6 is Curry, the same as Collins. 5. I already said I had Jokic at 5. I think I struggled for a half a second between Jokic and Curry, but again, it's just who's playing better right now. It's not close. Honestly, that Jokic is playing better than Curry. It's just not close. In fact, they're starting in 10 minutes. We're recording this 10 o'clock on Wednesday
awesome.
night, and they start in 10 minutes and they play against each other. We'll see how that. I'll send you the box score and all the stats in the morning, Colin.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
All right. Colin, number 5. You must be, I think I know where you're going with this.
I had LeBron at 5.
Mm-hmm.
So
Whoa.
it hurts me. I know, but he's just not better than 1 through 4 right now. He's still playing, LeBron, but he's just not. I think the 1 through 4 guys are having an exceptional year, and I just don't think he's really having his best year. I mean, he's obviously still playing very well for his age, especially, but he's just not better than 1 through 4 right now.
Where'd you have Colin?
LeBron, I had him at 3.
Yeah, I had him at 4. It's just so hard with this Lakers team. They're so bad. And he's been asked to do literally everything from play center to, his normal position to point guard. I mean, at 37, it's almost, and you know what? LeBron, the player, still incredible. The LeBron, the GM, terrible. Like, stop.
Yeah,
horrible.
Stop. If this Westbrook idea was his idea, then that needs to be the end of his GM ship until he retires, because doing it this way, he won't win another title for sure. Yeah, which is unfortunate. Okay, so I had LeBron at 4. Cullen, who do you have at? I think we're at 5 or 4.
I know we're at 4 for me, and it's my favorite player, but Luka. Luka's 4. I mean, he's got to be. Look at this guy. He looks like he's going in slow motion, but he tears up the league. I love this guy. Was it back-to-back 50-point games or 2 and 3 games? I mean, what are we doing? 28 points in the first quarter the other night. Now they got Kristaps out of there. He's gonna watch him climb that MVP race. He's gonna be challenging it at the end. You watch it. All right. You heard it here first.
I thought you weren't into stats.
Well, yeah, I mean, 50 piece, you got to respect. You got to respect that 50 piece 2 times. I mean, come on.
Do you have him 6 spots in front of Jokic?
Absolutely. Probably should have more than that, to be honest with you, but no hesitation whatsoever.
It's just a crime. It's a crime.
He runs it. I love it. Now that Kristaps is out, he'll be great.
I do think. That didn't work. That wasn't a good fit.
No.
I don't know if I love what they got back. I like Dinwiddie, I guess, but not.
I don't know how he works with Luka though. We'll see.
Yeah.
And Brunson, yeah, it's that whole backcourt's kind of interesting now. Okay, Colin, number 3.
Yeah, I had Jokic at 4, and then my 3 is KD. So
okay.
I think you might know where I'm going with my 1 and 2, but so KD, arguably the best scorer in the game, best scorer maybe in the past 10 years. So he's still KD, still 7-1, can shoot over anybody, get you 25, 30 a night. I think he's probably the best pure scorer on this list. So yeah, he's Kevin Durant. Don't know what else to say.
Well said.
Where'd you have Durant, Colin?
I had Durant at 2. Colin, I mean, explained it well. He's just the biggest thing with him is staying healthy. I mean, and playing with the crackhead that is Kyrie. So I mean, he gets him half the time, I guess. So we can talk about that. But anyway, no, he's unstoppable. I mean, you can't guard him when he's healthy. So
yeah,
that's the thing. Will he stay healthy? We'll see.
Yep, I have him at 2 as well. It's unfortunate that he got hurt. He was gonna, I think, make a case for MVP this year. He's incredible. I think back to the playoff game that the Nets lost to the Bucks, where his foot was on the line. I mean, that was an incredible basketball game, but he was just unstoppable that particular game. So much fun to watch with what he can do at his size. You know, being a big man, I'm surprised you had him that high. That's with you.
Untraditional big man, untraditional.
Okay, so Colin, that means either Giannis or Embiid are one. So who is it?
My one is Giannis. I think he's the most complete player in the game right now. As he had 50 the other night, didn't he, against the Pacers? Was that
Yeah.
yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yesterday,
so
the day before. Yep.
he had 50 and like 15, something like that. So I think he's the most complete player. He can get you whatever he can do whatever you want him to do. He's even hitting threes now. So I don't really know how you stop him. If he develops that three, he's a monster on defense. He can pretty much hang with anybody in the post. He can guard in the perimeter. So I think he's the most complete player, and I would definitely want him on my team if I was starting the team right now.
Colin, you got some sort of weapon?
Well, I was trying to. Speaking of Giannis, how big his muscles are, he kind of like stole my look with like musculature. I'm just kind of working out some of my shoulder tension here. But no, Giannis is clear cut number one. I don't think it's close. I think he's leaps and bounds above everyone. Colin just nailed it there. That was a thing of beauty to watch last year in the finals. I was rooting for the Bucks hard.
Unbelievable.
Root for you, Bucks hard. I don't know about you guys, but that guy, he's so likable. He's got the dad jokes and the post game, interviews. He's great. He seems like a down to earth guy. And there's my subjectivity coming through. He's my number one. Not my favorite player because that's Luka, but Giannis is probably 2 or 3 for me for favorite players.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's a different list, but
so you have him ranked at number one though.
I do. Yeah,
okay.
Number one. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I have Giannis at one as well. I have Giannis, Durant, and Embiid as on my top 3 right now. I don't really know if there's a situation where Embiid's ever gonna be better than Giannis, because I just feel like Giannis' skill set is more diverse, but Embiid's coming close this year. I mean, he really is, and he didn't the other night. Embiid have a 40-point triple double. I mean, he's showing that he can not only score, dominate the boards, but also be a distributor as well. I mean, that's just insane to me. I'm a little upset because last year I bet Embiid to win MVP at 40-1. He was having a great season, got hurt. I didn't do it this year. I bet Giannis, and right now it's Embiid, so might have to try to see if I can hedge mid-season. So we got through the top 10. Largely most of the guys are the same. I think it's just the where we had them ranked was a slightly different. The Jokic piece was obviously that was the big piece coming into the night. We hadn't discussed where our top 10 would be. I knew Colin and I would have them in the top 5 each, and we did. And Colin would do something silly and rank him really low, which he did.
Hey, he cracked the top 10. He cracked the top 10. You guys should be happy about that. That was hard for me to do, but I went with how it is.
He's the best passing big man in NBA history. And it's not close. It's not close.
Yeah, I don't really have a comeback for that right now, but I'll think of something.
Yeah, you're not interested in passing the basketball, apparently.
Not like Kobe, that's why.
I mean, coming from a guy who was a hard-nosed defender and appreciated, fundamental basketball, and here you are dissing on the most fundamental player in the league. That's disappointing, but hey,
I'm an enigma, man. I tell you, it's hard to figure me out.
Showing your true colors here. Let's talk about the trade deadline and a couple of the big moves that happened. I want to start with the Pacers. That deal, obviously, giving up Sabonis was a tough move to make because he is one of the more talented young big men in the league. But I think the good news for the Pacers is they got a hell of a lot back, and I was excited and happy to see them get a player of Halliburton's caliber. I think he's a future All-Star. He's in that dysfunctional Kings organization. He's thrived pretty well next to a guy in De'Aaron Fox. I don't think he's necessarily easy to play with. Colin, what did you think of the deal for the Pacers?
I was personally really happy with it. I was actually in class when I got the notification that they traded Sabonis, and I didn't see who they got back right away. And I looked and I saw they got Halliburton. I was shocked, honestly. I didn't think Sacramento would really part with him. I thought it would be Fox over him, honestly, but I was very happy. I would much rather have Halliburton. He's younger. I think he's got much higher potential, and I think he fits well with Duarte and that young core they got. I'm really happy they kept Turner, honestly. Um, I personally would have rather him kept Turner than Sabonis. I think he offers just a little bit more in terms of potential. I think Sabonis might be around where he's going to be for the rest of his career. He'll get a little bit better, but I think Turner fits really well with Halliburton and Duarte. So I was pretty happy about it.
You'd rather have Miles Turner than Sabonis. Are we serious?
Yeah,
Huh.
is that crazy of a thing to say?
That's a Cullen take right
Defensively,
there. That's a Cullen take.
defensively,
Sure.
defensively, Turner anchors you down. He's a much better defender than Sabonis, and he's arguably just as good of a shooter. I'm not. It's not that crazy of a thing
It's
to
not
say.
crazy.
I think he fits well with Halliburton and Duarte better than Sabonis.
Oh,
That's just me though.
Cullen piling on. It's not crazy at all.
I
Two,
I
two
don't
on
think
one.
it's that
I,
crazy.
I think it's crazy. I do, but it doesn't matter because they didn't keep Sabonis, I guess. I obviously this is a rebuild for the Pacers, so I think getting a guy like Halliburton that they have control over for I guess 3 more years on a rookie deal is I think a really amazing find. So now it's just kind of seeing where the pieces fall next. Cullen, the Kings, dysfunctional as ever. I can't believe they made the trade. There's really nothing good to say about the Kings. I think they have the longest streak of not making the playoffs in the league.
That's terrible. Yeah, I wish I could provide more hot takes here, but I agree with Colin and you about Halliburton. I think he could turn into an all-star. I like his game. He's not a big man, so I like that. I just like his playmaking ability. And I actually agree with Colin. I like Turner more than Sabonis. I think Sabonis'
Thank
dad
you.
was better. So
Oh, come on.
I'm just saying. I loved him for the Blazers.
Arvidas.
Back in Arvidas Sabonis, man. He was big baller. He is a big man, so it's weird that I like him. But anyway, but I don't know if Healed will really fit in there. Who knows? I mean, I like Healed, but will he improve enough? I think the Pacers just need maybe Halliburton will be that, but a true big all-star to really kind of get back to the Reggie Miller days. But we'll see what
Another
happens.
Paul George.
I was gonna say something
Yeah,
like Paul George.
Yeah, like that, but he didn't pan out, so
Porzingis, as we mentioned earlier, going from the Mavs to the Wizards, and then the Mavs get back Spencer Dinwiddie and Davis Bertans. I just like trying to say that name. I've been kind of out on Porzingis for a while, so I think his best days are already behind him. When he was with the Knicks, before he tore his ACL, he was an ascending star, and I think that injury really set him back. And his movement on the court is it's awkward. I don't really know, there's just I just feel like he lost a lot of athleticism. Where now he's kind of a shell of what he used to be. I don't know. What do you guys think of him?
I agree. I don't really like Porzingis all that much anymore. He's more of honestly a spot up shooter, which is weird to say for a 7 foot whatever guy, but I think that's pretty much what he's come to. He's lost his kind of playmaking ability, even though that's weird to say as how big he is. But he's definitely not what he used to be, and I don't really know what he's going to be capable of doing. So,
Colin, I'm sure you hate him because he's a big guy. So right.
Yeah, I do. I don't like him. The unicorn, he had to go. I didn't like his eyes. So it didn't look like he cared about the game. Like you can just tell if someone cares, and he's just like, I'm just going through the motions. I never liked him, and you said it earlier. It just didn't fit with Luka, and obviously I love my boy Luka. So Luka does need another piece, I think, eventually to really get to have the Mavs be a top team. But I'm glad he's gone.
My only qualm with Luka, and I love Luka too. But this is also my same qualm with guys like Harden. you're a professional athlete. Could you just show up in shape when you get to camp? Could you just do that once?
I'll
Like
give you
that's your
that.
that is your job. That is your only thing, is to like take care of your body, be in the best shape to be the best player you can be. I like we don't even know how good Luka can be because he's always out of shape every season. Well, man, Luka gained 15 pounds, 20 pounds in the off season. Why? You're a pro athlete. I don't understand.
I'll give you that, Phil. That drives me nuts. That's one thing that drives me nuts about Luka, and it's happened the past 2 years. He comes in like 15 to 20 pounds overweight, and it takes him forever to work into game shape. So it's just a waste. I agree. But what is he? 21, 22, just a few years older than Colin. So I mean, I don't know. Colin, would you come into shape? Come into camp in shape?
I mean, I'd like to think I would if I was a professional athlete getting paid millions of dollars, but
There you go.
that's just me. That's
Yeah.
just me.
Yeah.
I mean, Colin, he cares about his job, and if that's his job, he would do what's asked of him. You know, it's not like me, Phil Miller, 38 years old. I don't have to show up in shape. I'm out of shape, and I'll continually be out of shape. That's just the way it is. But my job doesn't require me to be in good physical shape.
Right.
The Philadelphia Sixers, they made a big trade, and they made a big trade with another contender, the Nets. The Sixers get Harden. We talked about earlier, they get Paul Millsap. I guess that's a throw-in piece, but the Nets get back the enigma known as Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and a couple of first rounder next year. I'm not sure if that's unprotected or not. I don't have it in front of me. 2027 first round pick as well. Start with the Nets. Colin, the fit with Ben Simmons, Kevin Durant, and a part-time Kyrie. What does this make them any closer to the title, or is this kind of a wash to you?
I mean, on paper, you would think it makes them better. I mean, it's what we all thought with. I mean, he's obviously a very different player than James Harden, but I think it's fairly similar expectations at what we thought that big three would be. I think we all thought they would be one of the best teams in the league pretty easily if they all played, obviously, which they aren't. So it depends on who's all playing. If Ben Simmons actually plays like he can, and not what we saw in those playoffs, whenever that was horrible. So arguably, I think that team has potential to be very good. I think with Kyrie as a main ball handler and Katie and Simmons running some pick and roll, I think that team's lethal. So we'll see what happens. I think Simmons adds a very, very nice piece on defense if he comes to play. So we'll see what happens. On paper, that team looks very good.
So you like it for the Nets?
I think it's a better fit than what Harden was with them because they just added 3 scorers to the same team, all guys that needs the ball. Ben Simmons doesn't necessarily need the ball in his hands to be effective, so I do like that fit.
Colin, go to town on Ben Simmons.
Yeah. Well, actually, you think I would, but
I would think
Colin,
you would.
I will. On paper, like Colin said, actually, it does make sense because Simmons won't have to shoot. You got the best scorer on your team right there. So, but will they actually play together with half of Kyrie and then Durant hurt? And if Simmons heads right to play, whether that's real or not, who knows what's going on in his head. But yeah, I mean, it might take some pressure off him because he can't shoot outside 6 feet. So we'll see what happens with that. I don't know what to expect. I haven't seen him since that playoff meltdown. So who knows what kind of player he is now. Yeah. But
right.
Yeah, we'll see. I am anxious to see it put together. Who knows if that mandate would be lifted someday so Kyrie can play full time, and if he doesn't, drop off the flat earth that he believes in. We'll see.
I always think there's like a chance, like when I wake up every morning, that we'll just hear that Kyrie like retired and he moved to some obscure country, and it wouldn't surprise me.
We'll see like a Kanye West situation,
right? Like
how Kanye's off the wall right now. We'll see something like that with Kyrie.
I think that's an apt comparison, Colin. I do like the move for the Nets on paper as well. I'm a fan of Simmons. I know what he did in the playoffs last year was bad. It was really, really bad. There's no getting around that. But I also know that he's a perfect third wheel because he's most dynamic and the open court, fast break situations. He can really get downhill. He's really lethal getting to the basket. Yes, he can't shoot, but I'm not necessarily worried about that. Like you guys mentioned, I think Curry had really developed into a nice player, so they're getting a nice piece back with him as well. And a guy like him and Patty Mills, I don't know necessarily what your closing five is on the Nets. When Durant's back, but yeah, I think it's interesting. I don't necessarily think they win the title with this team. I don't think they're going to beat the Bucks, but I think it's at least you got a guy that's invested more than Harden, who hated his Brooklyn situation apparently. So Harden going to Philly, does this make them closer to the title this season, Colin?
I don't like Harden either. It's weird. I feel like I'm saying I don't like a lot of players.
What a hater.
I know, I really am, but I do it in a fun, enjoyable way. Makes it more fun to watch and root against. But I do think it helps the Sixers this season, yes, because obviously Harden's a better scorer, but will he be all in? Who knows if they'll get bored and want to demand not to trade this year, but like, you know what, I give up like he always does. And he can't play defense, but you got Embiid down there to block every shot because he's 9 feet tall, so it doesn't really matter. But I do think it makes them closer. But I think, like you said, the Bucks, even though they're not playing the best right now, they're kind of struggling a little bit, but they're still, I think, 4 or 5 seed right now. So we'll see what happens.
Colin, you were the highest on Harden, so I assume you mentioned how you think the Embiid Harden duo could be devastating. So I take it you like the trade for them.
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it, they're getting a top 10 player, in my opinion, for a guy who doesn't play. So I don't really see how it doesn't make them a better team with a guy who's going to go out and score 20 a night and be your second best player on the court. So I think if they can figure out that pick and roll, I don't really think the defense will matter because they traded Ben Simmons, who doesn't play. They traded Seth Curry, who doesn't play defense, really. And so, I mean, I see it as a plus for them. So, yeah, I think it definitely makes them closer to a title contender for sure.
I need to see more. Like I said earlier, I need to see it not on paper with the Sixers. And I think of a team like the Bucks. I think of a team like the Heat. Also, like I think there's a bit of a dark horse in this battle in the East. I just don't know if I thought either the Sixers or the Nets got necessarily closer. I do give credit to Daryl Morey, the Sixers GM, for really sitting on Simmons though for as long as he did and really getting the guy that I think he wanted all along, which is hard. Last question, guys. Right now, almost to All-Star break. Who's going to win the NBA championship this season? Colin?
This was tough for me. I had a Suns Bucks final, so I'm still debating it.
Way to go on a limb there. No, it's fine.
I mean, I don't know. It's obviously chalk, but I just think they're the two most complete, best teams in the league. So I think the Suns are probably the most deep team in the league. They have solid guys who can get you a bucket throughout the lineup there. They all play defense very well. They gel together. I just think they're a very solid, complete team that plays good basketball. And then the Bucks have the best player in the world right now, and also a very good team, a very good deep team. I think they can just run it back, like I said at the beginning of the year when we had this podcast. So I think right now I'd be going with the Bucks to repeat, just because I just like that team a lot. I think Giannis is essentially unstoppable with what he's been doing this year and continuing on from the playoffs last year. So I'd roll with the Bucks.
All right, Colin, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good call, Colin. I think I have one of those teams in the finals. I also have the Bucks there, but I think Philly probably can guess why I've been there. But I got the Warriors getting back to the finals. We got Draymond coming back soon. We got Clay playing into shape. Curry's in a slump right now. You know it's not going to last forever. Come on. And then you got the young Wiseman coming. A couple other young pieces there. So I think they're just going to peak at the right time and get back. But like Colin said, if the Bucks stay healthy and, you know, if they get Brook Lopez back, who knows what he's going to be like. And didn't they just get Ibaka in a trade? Yeah. So, I mean, that could be a good defensive piece to help Giannis. I would like to see that matchup. So maybe that's just my heart rooting for that. But Bucks Warriors would be awesome to watch. So I would pick the Bucks in 7 in that series.
It would be a fun matchup. It would be a fun matchup. I really appreciate the Warriors, though. I mean, they have this new layer of young guys with Kuminga and Poole and Wiseman that we really haven't seen that much. I mean, just the way that they've been able to get all the young talent and mix it in with the vets like Draymond, Clay, and Steph has been awesome. I mean, they're just such a good organization. So I'm taking the Suns, though. I think the Suns are going to win it this year. I just feel like Chris Paul has shown me that he's, you know, he really revitalized his career going to the Suns, which is shocking to say because I thought he was done at the end of his Houston days. But, you know, I was reading that he really started eating healthy, taking care of his body. Luka, you know, that whole, professional athlete thing.
Take notes.
And like I said, I love Booker as running alongside with him. He's such a good fit, and Ayton has been really just he's a solid third piece, third wheel, solid defense, rebounder, and I really like their supporting pieces and Bridges and Crowder, all those guys. And I like the Suns this year. So 3 different picks. That's kind of fun.
Who do you have the Suns beating in the finals, if you don't mind me asking?
Right now, I can't. Like I just.
Oh, come on!
I can't see anyone.
Come on, we all get
No,
one.
I can't see anyone other than the Bucks getting there right now.
Oh, sorry.
If you just let me answer, damn it! Stop cutting me off.
So you rag on me for picking the same thing you did.
I know. Dark horse, though. I mentioned the Heat. Also, the Celtics are. I don't know. They're kind of interesting. They're rounding in form. I don't think they're going to make the finals or anything, but this Brown Tatum thing maybe finally starting to work a little bit. And as I say that, I see they lost to the Pistons tonight at home. So maybe cool that after all. All right, guys. This was fun. I enjoyed it.
Can I add a few more things real quick?
Go ahead.
Can we just talk about how I hate the Heat? I hope they lose in the first round and get swept by the Bucks again. Can't stand Tyler Hero. Can't stand Jimmy Butler. Can't stand Duncan Robinson, that Doug Funny looking guy. I can't stand the Heat, and I just hope they lose. They get swept. So that's one thing.
You probably wouldn't like my argument that Tyler Hero should have been the number 1 pick in the 2019 draft. Then
I would not like that argument. I think he is absolutely garbage. And he's a prick.
The number 1 pick.
We talked about that, didn't we, Colin?
Who else was in that draft?
Or I might be mixing up my drafts actually.
Ja Morant was in that draft.
Oh, was that the Ja Zion draft? Okay.
Yes.
What I meant was number 3. Behind those guys. That's what it was. Yes.
Colin's head almost exploded right there. He was like, I don't even know what to say.
See, sometimes I get my my ears mixed up. That's what happens when you get older.
That would have been a hotter take than Kelly's Jokic.
I agree.
The other take real quick, though, are the Lakers, are they going to miss the playoffs? Are they going to be in the playing game? Does that even count as the playoffs? Is LeBron just going to fade out into the sunset because he can't be like Jordan? I don't know. He's not going to reach 6 rings, so he's not going to be Jordan. Jordan's
playing until Bronny gets to the league.
Do we know Bronny's going to get to the league though? Like, is that just a guarantee?
He'll get there somehow.
He probably will.
They'll be in at least the playing game. I mean, they're the 9th seed right now. I mean, they'd have to be passed by the Pelicans or the Spurs. I just don't see that. But are they going to go anywhere? No, I don't think so. There's no way they could beat the Suns or the Warriors in a series right now.
Yeah.
Which But again, does it matter? Does LeBron have to win another ring? I don't think so. I mean, he's cemented his spot as the second best player of all time, and everyone should just enjoy that and enjoy the years he has left, and stop the comparison. He's not going to get another ring probably.
That's fair enough. I'll give you that.
I mean, that's the discussion, and I know where Collins stands on it, and I don't necessarily disagree. I mean, this is your favorite line, Cullen, but all around basketball player, then, if we're not talking about resume and you're talking about basketball player, then maybe that's a different discussion.
That could be
LeBron's the best basketball player of all time. Jordan's the greatest.
Whoa. I
You know
like
what? That sounds like a Tiger Nicholas discussion. A lot of people would say Tiger has played the best golf ever, but Nicholas technically has the better career still at this point. So I don't know.
What about Mickelson?
Oh, don't get me started on him. I talked about him in my golf pod this week, that he's just running after the Saudi money now, and I don't know.
That was great.
I don't know what's going on with him. There's some really weird stuff with Mickelson. Like I said, I think maybe he needs money. I don't know how.
He's in some insider trading or Ponzi
He is.
scheme. I don't know what's going
He's
on.
always got some weird shit going on.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Appreciate you being on. This was fun.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. We'll definitely have to do it again sometime.
Absolutely. NBA playoff pod or something, but just to talk about basketball again would be nice. Check us out. We'll have this up on YouTube, and check out our YouTube channel, and keep listening. We'll have a couple shows next week. Catch you next time.